So these two black horses are Morgans from Doug Aspen. He sent them to me to work on training them to drive as a pair. See that buckskin chasing? Well, he's tagging along behind. That's Banner. That's one of my dad's horses. He's his dad is Topaz, Palomino of Moab. So these black Morgans, look, they already go around as a pair. It's really great. So pretty. Indi is 5 years old, a mare, and Mysti is a 4-year-old mare. And Doug does a lot of driving. I think he's trained most of it. I doubt that he sent his horses out for driving training. And I saw him with one horse at It's fun to watch them move when you can really like slow it down and watch it and just like study different parts, see, you know, how does each one hold and carry their head? Are they crossfiring? Are they stepping under? Are they well balanced? I like this, how they kind of read off each other. Did you notice? Okay, so the horse on the right, look like on the screen, got out of the space of that other horse. They just made that beautiful turn. When I do the groundwork in this video later on, you'll see the horse not getting out of my space, like he got out of the space of that other horse. So that's one of the things that we work on. So on this first day, which was yesterday, I gave him some nice hay and some oats, and just kind of spent some time hanging out with him. And this is Mysti, who's putting hay on my head and keeps smelling me. It's pretty sweet. Indi is the farther one, and Indi's older, and it was kind of interesting. I was surprised, but Indi was a little bit more jumpy and not as confident as Mysti. Also, Indi felt like she would not be opposed to running me over if she got scared. So I would definitely, I saw Doug lead these two horses all over the place yesterday. I mean, day before this video. You know, they just got there, and he handled them just fine. And but with me, they sort of were going to walk on top of me. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very aware of how I'm positioning my body. Either my body's right next to the belly of the horse or this way, and I got a hand on her leg, so I know if something's coming. She's gonna kick or move out at me. It's a feeling thing too. Here is Indi, older one. I moved the camera over because I saw that she really liked being scratched on her chest, and she was like, "Oh, that feels so good." They're really nice horses. They have such really pretty faces and really pretty eyes. Those baling twine things on her halter, it's actually really clever. Doug put those in so that when she's in the cross ties, or whoever wears that halter in the cross ties, those are breakaways. You can just snap the ties into the baling twine. Okay, so I'm going to talk here, so I think I'll stop this narration. So what I'm doing here, it's pretty easy. Like, if you catch the horse's eye and you kind of walk backwards, everybody wants to walk up to the horse. Hey, how are you doing? You know, but if you just catch their eye and then now immediately, oops, I'm talking.
She's the 4-year-old.
I'm saying this is Mindy, it's a 4-year-old.
So yesterday I saw Doug lead these two around, and they're real comfortable with him. Today I had a little trouble feeding them. Actually, Indi, the older one, was a little bit less secure, about kind of a little bit more jumpy, and I wouldn't put it past her to run on top of me. That's how it felt. She did. So we're just going to do some kind of super basic groundwork stuff while we get to know each other. You're pretty sweet. Okay.
The thing I was talking about before, where just if you catch the horse's eye and then back up, you'll usually draw them to you, or at least get their, you know, if you catch their eye, meaning you see them kind of start to look at you, or you think they're going to, start walking backwards, and then that will kind of draw their face, and then hopefully their feet, and they'll come up to you. And I will actually like do something a little bit irritating to get a horse to turn and face me in the stall, because I just don't want them to be like turn away from me and just there. See how I backed up? I did that on purpose to kind of invite her to me. Right now, I actually normally wouldn't just right off the bat just pick up their hooves, but I wanted to see what I had, what they're going to do. And then that thing I was doing just before was just rubbing them with the rope on their body, and I'm looking at their face. I'm not looking at my hand rubbing the rope. And I'll, you know, oops, she had a fly there actually. You see how I've got enough rope that her head is turned towards me? Then I drop it, but that's when I feel like, okay, she's giving me her leg, that's fine. If her head's turned away from me, then she can push. It's hard to explain. Let's see. It's just they're going to step away from me if her head is turned towards me. It's the easier way if she wants to get away. She's being really good. So pretty. Okay, here I'm going to try and push her shoulder away from me. You can see the easiest path would just be for her to walk straight ahead, which she sort of did. But I'm asking her, I'm saying, this is my space. You have to move your shoulders out towards the outside of the circle and go around me. I'm just seeing if she'll disengage her hips. I'm not doing it so great. I just wanted to see what she would do. To teach this groundwork stuff, I usually start slower, if you can imagine that. And to first do the hips, and then do the rope wiggle back up, and then see if they'll move their shoulders over. So see, I've got her head turned, because I want her to see me rubbing the rope on her body. Now I'm actually telling her to move her buns away. When I'm watching this video, I'm noticing she pretty much consistently comes towards me. Yeah, I disengage her hip. That means turn her hips away so I can't see her buns. And then her head ends up coming right towards me, kind of close, kind of not so good. So there's something that I should probably change about how I'm doing that. And also, it's not a bad idea to wear a helmet. It'd be pretty smart. To be fair to her, I want to really definitely change my body posture when I'm saying hide your hips. Because if I just look at her hips and then that means hide your hips, it might be confusing when I actually want her to stand still and I walk over. Like I want to go over and adjust the harness or do something. That I was inviting her when I took the steps. Just to kind of see if the horse is with me. This is my friend Karen. She has a Moreb also. That was very nice how she moved out of my space. So what I'm wondering is if I just was a little bit more aggressive, like when I bend over, right now you gotta hide your buns. If that would help the horse, I'm probably, I don't know, sometimes it's a feel thing, but I'm probably doing it like that. I want to give her a chance to kind of figure it out. Maybe I'm babying her a little bit. She likes to be sort of close to me on this side. That's better. Just look at her grumpy face. That was pretty good though. Good girl. So she doesn't know this rope wiggle yet. So I'm using pressure, because maybe that's how she's been backed.
No, it's okay, don't worry. We're having the nicest just hangout day.
So I talked with Karen for about 5 minutes, and then I just now turned the camera back on. But while I was talking with her, we worked on back up with the rope wiggle. She's a little better. Later in the video she gets worse because she says, enough of you telling me what to do.
Are you gonna, we have to talk about riding together.
It's not good to talk to your friends while it's better to focus on the horse. That was very nice backing up. So, see, my left hand, if she decides to go the other way, she's going to feel resistance on her face. And I'm pushing with the rope, pushing pressure first in the air, swinging in the air, then it's going to pop her in the shoulder. She says, no. No, I don't want to yield my shoulders to you. Oh, that tail swish, she's so pissed. So I actually didn't like slam very hard on her head. I mostly wiggled the rope and then I just moved really fast like I'm crazy. And she did just get smacked in the shoulder with the swinging rope because she was in my space. Like if she moves out of the space, the rope is not going to hit her. That's good. Disengage. So now she's like, I'm not. Either she just can't remember what to do, probably. But also a little bit of, whoever backs up loses. And I think she's more dominant mare, especially more dominant than Indi, her sister. So she just wanted to reverse immediately. She doesn't want to stand still. She's all mad. I actually just want her to disengage her hips and stand there. Breathe. That would be a good time to breathe. She needs to move out of my space. That was good. This horse, she doesn't lick her lips very often. I think that Indi did lick her lips a little bit more, but this one, she's sort of like, mm-mm. Got a lot of resistance. She says, I don't really think I like you very much anymore. Whoa. So this horse is gonna like kind of threaten me. Not really threaten me, but she's just saying, I cannot go that way. I will rear, or maybe I will run in close to you. So you can watch. As much as I can, I'm gonna hold my ground. And she's deciding to reverse. Good. So see how I really wanted to let the rope go. I don't want her to do what I asked her to do and then bonk, hit the end of my rope. That was a very nice... Yeah, look at she offered to back up. That's good. She's kind of too close to me, so I'm swinging at her belly. Hide your buns. Hide them. Oh, that's nice. So she's stepping out of my space. Good job. But she doesn't really know this. I'm really, like, it looks pretty bad on the video. But I'm really not, I don't like to jerk down on the rope and just hit them. It's really like a wiggling, making the rope wiggle, which is still really horrible and annoying because this lead rope has that heavy snap on it. And the rope halter, it's, you know, it's severe. It's a skinny little thing. When I'm moving side to side, I'm kind of like seeing if she's going to follow me with her eyes, with her head, or try and get attention. Now I'm going to see if she'll put her head down. So I've got, you know, my arms are not really that strong, and I don't, oops. Everybody breathe. So it looks like I'm really uncomfortable, but I'm just trying to focus, and I'm using as light a pressure as I can. And when I feel her just get a little bit, just a little tiny give, I immediately I let go. Unless you can see it. They always want to step forward instead of put their head down. So I'm actually trying to not focus on the space below her head. I'm trying to focus my energy on all the other space so that there's, I don't know. It's this thing that I was at a clinic with Leslie Desmond. Anyhow, she did some neat things, and she said you can't get the horse to put their head down if all your focus and all your energy is right there. Whoops. Good job holding your ground, Sarah. That's pretty important, so that the horse is very clear that even if it's scared, you are not a doormat. You know, you don't run over the lead horse. Whoops. Ooh. So the grumpy face, it's kind of common when they're learning. It's not a grumpy. Look at that ear is right on me. That's very nice. So I'm trying to be consistent and fair and really predictable. And the grumpy face that the horse is doing, oh, that's very nice. Back up. You know, they just feel insecure. So some of them, I feel like they're defensive, and some of them are just saying, I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times they're like, I need to go the other way. I can't go the other way. Like, she might be worried about my left hand being out there and like, how can I go that way? But my left hand stretching out is actually going to be like a signal that says, go. Follow this way. There. Good job. So pretty. What a pretty moving horse. So she really wants to like throw her shoulder into my space. So now I start trying to just do some leading, kind of like walking next to her. She's really insecure about me walking next to her. I'm holding the rope in a different way, and she knows I can get her with my end of my rope. She doesn't really like me very much now. But what I want to do is I'm just trying to walk next to her. Good. Build some confidence that it's okay, it's safe to walk next to me. And you have to. Today when I was leading the two horses back and Indi was spooking at something, they do this thing which I've noticed when I start all horses to lead and help them be safer for their humans. They gawk at what's outside and they throw their shoulders to the inside, and they're actually kind of like bouncing off each other. And so when we're leading them, you know, they look to the outside and they throw their shoulder in towards us. And then the next thing they do, which they did to one of my clients, is they run right through that shoulder and she ran her over. So something that's kind of important to me is that the horse, they don't get to throw their shoulder in towards me as we're walking. She's so mad. If you put a backup right after the hip disengage, especially for horses that are kind of sticky and they just can't remember what to do about backing up, if you put it right after the hip disengage, she just doesn't want to. She might not like, I mean, there is enough space behind her, but she might not like, I don't know, something that's back there. She's still not licking her lips. So anyways, if you do the hip disengage and then the back up, it gives them a lot of practice of backing up. So they start to volunteer, they just get better at it. It seems like some horses, they just don't back up in their lives and they don't have much practice backing up. Sometimes it feels like it's a coordination thing, and sometimes it's a mare thing of, I don't need to back up, you back up. That's nice. So now, yeah, I was just seeing if she's with me. I was kind of like backing. There. I'd like to see if the horse stops when I stop my feet. I kind of sit down and stop. Indi, the next horse, whoops, I don't want to go over there. I will smack her on the neck, but I'm trying to give a warning first. If I put my hands, look at, she can get her head over me, so I'm putting my hand so high. Come on. Good. Yielding that shoulder. It's a real submission thing. She almost stopped when I stopped. So the other horse, the next horse, Indi, doesn't stop when I stop my feet. She's not tuned into me, or she doesn't think it's important. Which is kind of funny to me because most horses, they'll kind of just get it. Like you stop and then they don't do it. Oops, she keeps wanting, she wants to put me on the other side. And see how she wanted to run into me with her, run through me with her shoulder? I am way too important to be run over. That's what I'm trying to communicate to the horses. There, that was nice. It's okay if she like kind of got off her front end to do a little pirouette over, that's fine. She did that to avoid going into my space. I'm inviting her. I'm gonna get my head conked if I'm not careful. She has a little spot under her elbow. Is that her elbow? It looks like she lays down and maybe her hoof just makes a callus on that spot. I have one of those on the top of my right foot. Because whenever I make art, I kneel in this certain way. Kind of reluctant to go walk next to me. But see how she wants to crowd me with that shoulder? That's the thing. Like, they can leg yield. They don't have to be throwing that shoulder in towards me. She's really not out of my space. See how that shoulder just doesn't want to yield? Invitation. She kind of waits. What? She's a nice horse. She says, "Oh my lord, you are so bossy. What happened to my life?" It seems to be at this place she doesn't want to back up. The head's way up in the air. Some people don't want to do this rope wiggle back up when I teach it to their horses because they don't want their head. They don't want. Whoops. You know, it's horrible. Your horse's head goes way up in the air. It's ugly. We don't like that for backing. But that goes away. Like, that's just resistance. That's the horse saying, what if I just put my head up in the air? Then will that stop, will that annoying rope wiggle go away? But once they learn that rope wiggle is connected to moving your feet, and they know it, they don't bother throwing their heads up in the air. Because that's not the solution. Woo, she's all mad. So pretty. The lighting is so pretty now, those dark clouds. I got Zorro with me here. She's not fully hiding her buns. See that? She's just kind of not quite doing it. And there's probably something I could do better, but I keep thinking she's gonna hide her hip, she's gonna disengage her hips fully. So then I stand up and kind of reward. Oh, come on! Like what? There, she's chewing. Finally, I think that's the first time I've seen her chew. Indi is at the hitching rail learning how to tie. Sure, her brain might be full right now. The tail swish. I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it. This groundwork exercise, I use it because I can also help shape how their body is when they go around. Because you have the tools you can bring their head in, but say no, keep your shoulder out, keep your belly out. step under with your hind end. That's nice. I think she got a fly, unless she's really mad about... I'm always afraid the camera's going to shut off, and that there will be this really great thing that we don't get on tape. So I'm checking it. Oops. Now I actually just want to go and turn off the camera and let it be Indi's turn, but I think that Mysti does some stuff, so I'm like, okay, I guess we're not done yet. She doesn't want to yield those shoulders. I have to smack her. She's just going right. Good, good. Gotta move away from the pressure. She wants to reverse. That was very nice. She gave me all that space with her shoulder.
Okay, this is Indi.
So I really don't know what to expect with either of these horses. It was kind of interesting to see how Mysti was a little bit like, don't you tell me what to do. Okay, so I just want to touch her with the rope on her back and touch her back, and I just want her to turn her head slightly and see what I'm doing. But she's turning around. She'd rather just... No, she's all right. She's looking not at me. She would rather just cock her head a little bit to the left so that she doesn't see me at all. That's what she's trying to do. Because I'm bringing her head, then she's just trying to step away, step away. So that's nice how she's accepting and seeing it. That's what I wanted. We can do a lot of desensitizing, and some people say, oh yeah, you know, my horse will stand still for this and for the tarp and stand still for all this stuff. But really their horse's head was straight ahead or tipped a little bit to the other side, and the horse didn't have to see very much of what was going on. Also, on the subject of desensitizing with all sorts of stuff, it's a totally new ball game when you move their feet. So just because a horse accepts you sitting up there, they accept the saddle, accept the tarp, all that stuff, that doesn't mean that they're going to accept it when you start moving. This is the first rope will go back up. She's like, what are you doing? Ugh. There, she's licking her lips right away. That's nice. She's not as glued into when I stop, though. She's consistent about that. That's a lot of resistance. I can't back up. But then she doesn't have her jaw so clenched like Mysti did. Trying to disengage the hip. She doesn't really know any of this, so. What's nice is when they know this stuff, you have control of most of parts of their body, and you can be more subtle. It just makes everything super easy. She doesn't know what I want. Woo! Good girl. I'm probably tightening the rope halter. I don't like it when it loosens. It starts to hang down far on their nose, because their nose is pretty sensitive down there. If your rope halter has a long tassel after you tie it, well, what I do is I'll make another loop, because that string can flip forward and it would just hit the horse right in the eye. Oh, she's stepping on her tail. Maybe that's why. She's so sweet. So I'm trying to help her get the right answer with my left hand. I'm gonna check with, I saw a clinic, colt starting clinic with Trey Young, and I really liked it. And so this is what I just keep comes to mind, that maybe for this hip disengage thing, maybe I have to be a little bit clearer, like a little bit more aggressive, and then maybe the horse will get it sooner. But before I started doubting that, basically my experience with it is that, you know, they're trying to figure it out. They're agitated enough, and I help them get the right answer, and then they figure out, oh, it's this. This is what that means when you bend over for the hip disengage. She's sweet. She's kind of like, you can see she's just a little bit more, this is my feeling, I could be wrong, but she just seems a little bit more laid back, like, wait, why are we going to all this trouble? Hey, you know, let's just hang out. Like, she's not annoyed, she's just kind of like, what is this all about? Good grief. Not quite making the connection. Hey, there you go. But, you know, she backed up, but I don't think she knew why she got the right answer, what it was. Trying to help her with the hip disengage, she doesn't really have that either. And then, you know what, maybe if I did a rope wiggle back up right after the hip disengage, it might help her to get it better. She wants to be somewhere else, not with me. You can see with her head, her eyes. So when she knows this, if I, you know, turn up, oh, I don't know, I was going to say turn up the volume, but when she knows it, it's a way, this is a good tool to get her focus back on me. Because she'll have all these tools. I'll say, move your shoulders over, disengage your hips, back up. Move your shoulders over, disengage your hips, go the same way, do it again, do. Give them a lot of stuff to think about. And also it's a conversation that says, I am moving you around and I'm your leader, I'm the decider. She really doesn't have as much of a grumpy face, right? She's just kind of like, gosh, what's wrong with this lady? Maybe wish I could be somewhere else. Trying to do the right thing. So pretty sweet horse, but she's not, you know, letting me, well, maybe she just doesn't understand yet, but she's not really letting me, she's not looking to me for what to do. Sweetheart. That's getting better. went to the Horse First farm last year. I think it was last year. A few times, and Gretchen Arndt is there. She does some very nice stuff with Pirelli, the Pirelli methods, and I watched her train, and then I went home and did everything twice as slow as I normally would, because it was just pretty cool to see how she really just takes her time and gives the horses time to absorb what they are doing and just being present. Now I'm going to see if she'll yield her head and see what I'm doing here. Good. 'Cause she doesn't want to. Good. Now, see where my eyes are? Okay, I'm not doing it. Quite often when I have some clients, I say, you know, your horse could use more work with this. But I think it's important to watch the horse's face, because you know where your hand is when you're rubbing the rope on their butt. But their face is going to tell you if they're accepting it or not, or if you're going to get kicked or not. So I'm trying to just do the walking, leading kind of thing. Get out of my space, get out of my space. I can't. So remember in the beginning when they were running free, and the one horse turned and the other one just, that was a nice one. There she goes. This horse needs to treat me like I'm as important as Mysti. So she's spacing out, so I backed up to see if she'd go with me and to kind of get her to... So here, she kind of did it. What I'm doing is, what am I doing now? Just wanted to think about me. But basically I walk along, I kind of sit down and stop my feet. And if you do it a few times, even if the horse, like, they totally don't pay attention, and you do it again, they totally don't pay attention. By the third time, quite often, they just kind of clue in. She's more comfortable. Well, a little bit. However, it feels like her shoulder wants to be in close to me. Yep, crowding. She's moving her neck out of the way, but not her shoulder. She's not stepping out of my space. Sometimes if that's happening, I'll smack them on the shoulder to help get their shoulder to move out. Of course, when we do that, we have to, like, let them run ahead, let them move the way we just told them to. I stopped, but you didn't stop. Where are you going? What? Yeah, she doesn't get it. She's a good sport, though. It's like, man, you are such a grumpy, bossy lady. There, she almost got it. Nope. So I'm trying to help her. So when she doesn't stop, I am kind of wiggling with, it's pretty annoying, on her face. Yay. Oh my gosh. Yes. It'd be nice if she gave me a little space with her shoulder. Oops. I worked with some really wonderful fjords. Let's see. Well, 2 months before Midwest Horse Fair. And they're Corgi Hill Farm. They breed really, really nice fjords. And so any age fjord, what I did was, besides doing the groundwork, we did a lot of leading work. Make sure they don't throw their shoulder at me, and also that they're comfortable with me jogging next to them. And most horses are not, you know. You start running next to them, and I think I'm going to go help Mysti. She's doing something at the tie. Yeah, they you know, they feel insecure. They're like, "Whoa," I start bucking, and you know, they're really worried. And so that's one of my desensitizing things. And I want to be able to walk and run and stop and turn both ways, even the harder way where I'm on the outside of the bend at the walk and at the trot. And it's so fun. It's really cool. Those fjords, they all kind of gave me a bit of complaining. They were very willing for the first 15 minutes, and then they all said, that's enough. Will you please go away? And I had to get through that, and then they were fine again. And then they didn't really test me after that. But it's really fun when, you know, you start running and the horse runs and you stop, and they stop and they get out of your space, and it helps. It makes everything, it carries over into the other things that you want to do. Very nice. She's pretty sweet. With my visor, sometimes I don't see their ear. I don't know. I kind of just look at their lower part of their body and feel, but I sometimes miss some of their expressions until I'm seeing it here on the video. I should be wearing a helmet instead of a visor. It's like, what? Some things that I think too, that all of this groundwork that I'm doing when I'm lunging a horse, I could be practicing engaging my core. And sometimes I remember to do that for like about a minute. But I can see here, you know, I'd be, oops. Sometimes when we want the horse to relax, I sort of get this slumped posture, which is not necessary. She's doing a nice job. I'm still helping her. Yeah. So the rope wiggle and also them reading my body helps that I can teach them ho, you know, so that we do that. I sit down and stop and say ho, and then on the lunge line, the rope wiggle can encourage a downward transition. They remember it. And if you just do it from a walk and then a rope wiggle, ho. Because I want them to know that word just by sound. That they hear it and they stop moving their feet. And we'll practice ho going from a trot down to a stop, and then also from a canter down to a stop. Nope. Sometimes on the lunge line, horses will just, pull on your arm. So I don't really like this signal for a downward transition to be pull in on their head, because if they start pulling on their own, that was good. Start pulling on their own face, and I'm trying to see if she'll put her head down. I'm actually not pulling that hard, I don't think. So on the lunge, if the signal for a downward transition is pull, pull pull on the horse's face, then they might do it themselves. But the rope wiggle is pretty distinct. And I can just kind of give a little flick of the wrist, and it'll send a little wave up the rope. After the horse, gets the idea, it's a pretty small signal. Good. What a sweetie. Really different, different expression than her sister, her younger sister, Mysti.